writing poetry versus writing lyrics, just the graphic form of your work wouldn't on the face of it say, aha, that's a lyric.
No, never. That's true.
So what was it about the relationship or the dialogue that you had with Clint that enabled it to go from a work on a page to something he could see in a...
Clint is an intensely clever, intensely intelligent man, and I think that a lot of my writing, I mean, even in the mesostic form, which tends to be kind of errant, I'm still always very, very aware of rhythm and cadence. And there is a music to what I write because I'm always speaking it out loud. Cage championed the form, and as far as I know, really was the first person to write the mesostic. The name mesostic came from the philosopher Norman O. Brown. Cage had originally referred to them as acrostics, and I guess Norman O. Brown, this is what Cage told me, Norman O. Brown said, well, no, they're not flush, left, they're running down the middle. It's like a spine, it's a middle, a meso. Aren't they mesostics?
It's not just a verbal game. There's a lot of very intense emotion in like the flower mesostics.
Yes.
They're almost like, it's almost like tiny updike.
Well, thank you. Well, that's very kind. Yeah, well, I mean,
there's that kind of feeling of danger and hurt and loss and...
Yes, I mean, I like to stick close.
Sexual, there's a lot...
Yeah, well, I mean, that's funny with the Victorian, with the flower mesostics. I mean, that coded language that the Victorians, speaking the words that couldn't be spoken and giving each other these little nosegays with all this coded language. I found that really interesting, and of course when I started writing them, they all became about sex. The thing with the mesostic is there's a spine. I mean, the subject or object of the poem runs vertically. So this one's Purple Lilac, and this was that series I talked about, these Victorian meanings of, the secret language of flowers. So there are various conditions to be met where whatever that capitalized letter is, it's not going to appear in the remainder of this line or in any word before the next cap. So it automatically tightens things up. It makes it rather strict and somewhat austere, but there's a lot of freedom in that as well. The big surprise with those was that Clint, when he decided that he really wanted to start making music again but didn't want to write lyrics, what was really interesting was that many of those mesostics dropped directly into song. They weren't really retrofitted or rehabbed very much at all.
They're hardly altered at all.
No, I know. I mean, and that is so wacky because, again, like I say, the form, in order to meet the conditions of it, the lines can be very errant, and so there's nothing traditionally lyric-like about that form, but they fell into song very beautifully.
We should say that these are found in the consonant records.
Yes, the two consonant records.
Right, Clint's band.
His side project,
right.
Which had a short but lovely
life.
Or
main project for a
main project until Burma really blew up big again, and then there was so much touring, and he couldn't do both bands and be a family man and keep the day job. So that was that. Consonant was a wonderful band alive. It's a pity that they didn't get to play out more, because
we should say who else was in Consonant.
Matt Cadane on drums from Bedhead, wonderful drummer. Winston Brayman, Boston musician who was in a band, The Count Me Outs, maybe another band, Fuzzy, and now he's in a wonderful band called Shepherdess. Chris Brokaw Consonant was one of the 300 bands that Chris Brokaw is and was in. And then who else was in that band? Let me think, I'm missing somebody. No, I guess and Clint, yeah, that's it.